All right, guys. Hey, welcome to our Monday sales call. I'm excited to be able to have Jackson Murphy on with us. I had a pleasure of meeting him about like 3, 4 weeks ago, and it was so cool because I was literally doing Dave Richards' call, and we were talking about Jackson on his call. And then, like, I think he was at like 13 grand through 2 days, and then it was like 17, and then it was 20, and then Dave sends me a text and goes, "Dude, he finished at 37 for the week." And I was like, what? And he was like, he's got this thing figured out. You definitely need to get him on. And I was like, absolutely. We're going to get him on. So, Jackson, I appreciate you hopping on, man, and taking some
Of
time out
course.
today. A lot of our agents don't know you because you're so damn new to the company, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So can you kind of share with everybody your background, how you ended up here, family first life, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, 100%. First of all, thank you, Stephen, for having me. This is awesome. Yeah, man, I'm literally like 3 months in. Just finished up playing college baseball, actually. Went to Roanoke College here in Virginia.
Nice.
D3 baseball player. I was a pitcher. Had a pretty good career, but eventually kind of senior year faded out a little bit. Wasn't able to continue. And like you said, Dave Richard hit me up on DM. And said, "Hey, athletes are crushing it here. You already kind of have the discipline. You already know a schedule, what that looks like." And hit me up. I said, okay, I'm gonna try it. And June was or whatever. It was kind of all right. July learned, and then like Steven said, all of a sudden everything kind of just came in, and that week was just riding that momentum. So yeah, just coming in, starting doing we're doing vet leads over here. A lot of final expense, but yeah, that's kind of how I got started. Still very new, still learning a lot, but it's been going well.
I love it, man. You're such a veteran for being 90 days in. You know what I mean? But I
Awesome.
want to talk about this because I kind of know a little bit about your guys' process, and I'm a big fan of it, right? So when you
Mhm.
got started, did you guys? I know Dave uses like a lead advantage program. Did you start off with that, or did you go right into buying leads right away? Like, how did that work out for you?
So yeah, a little bit. So Dave knew, I mean, coming straight off college, I didn't really have, money to go out and start buying packs. So Dave kind of got us right. He had a bunch of the old paper leads printed out from like a year back. He said, look, hey man, get through the numbers. It's all numbers game. Practice, practice, practice. So for my first month, not a lot of sales, not a lot of appointments, but I was just pushing those, year-old sales on off the ILC system. And then eventually, in July, we had a lead advantage program to where Dave had about 1,000 old Virginia leads that were within about 2, 3 months. So I kind of went through those, and then everyone in our velocity over here has kind of been doing this vet system, which is a Facebook ads where they kind of plug and play on a drip system with an ad spend per day. So I started on that recently, the past month I'd say, and now kind of shifted into that. But started off just kind of dialing the white pages, I say, and then started kind of getting into the fresh, like almost real time leads. So,
Can you talk about so like we have something very similar that we built into our group finally. Can you kind of talk about what was the importance of you calling through age stuff? Because a lot of agents come in and go, no, 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 I won't call the age stuff. And I'm like, dude, if you can't overcome, I need to think about it, or I'm not interested on an old lead, you're still going to get that on a new lead, right? So you're just
mhm.
learning at cost is basically what it is. So can you kind of talk about like what did that do for you learning on the lead advantage program? And then eventually, like, when did you transition into your new stuff?
Oh, 100%. I was actually just talking about this with my buddy. I literally think of this as if it's golf, right? You don't need $10,000 irons to go hit the ball straight. Like you have to learn
Facts.
how to, do the swing first. So that's kind of where I came from, right? And Dave was really keen on it. Hey, you got to learn. You need to get over the fear of dialing the phone because when you first come in, you don't even want to type in numbers. So it was me kind of just, being able to calm down, knowing, hey, these are older. They probably don't even want it anyway. But this is where, in fact, I can learn my opening pitch, learn how to get through the social objection, learn how to get into the apps, learn what all the apps do, and then kind of learn how to get the banking. And once I started learning how to roll those objections, then it was like me and Dave sat down and we're like, hey, it's time. Let's get into a real system. I'm going to start spending about $150 a day, kind of get my leads to drip in every single day, hit those, get AI software booking systems in there as well. But like I said before, in the beginning, I even have a few of my downlines on that as well too. Just hey, I have a bunch of old leads for you. I want you to learn. I want you to get so comfortable to where it pisses you off because you're getting too good at it too quick, and that's going to be a good thing. So that's kind of where I would say everyone should really truly start,
Right.
especially instead of dumping money in because that's how it works, right? You got to buy leads, you got to ROI it. That's how the system works. It's very simple. People try to complicate it. But at the start, it worked very, helpful for me getting, finding a way to where you could get some free leads. whether that's, all of our managers that are writing all this business, they have old leads. I mean, they got thousands on thousands.
Yep.
Get a good relationship to where you can get, leads from a year ago, practice, practice, practice. Try to get 200, 300 in a day. Literally just ripping through it. It kind of sucks in the beginning, but you get so good so fast.
How long were you on that program before you transitioned into buying your own stuff?
Yeah, so mid-May, I graduated, got into the business. So the end of May was just kind of like literally learning like what is Mutual Omaha. Like I don't even know what that means, like that kind of stuff. And then getting into June, I would say all of June I did that. And then July I started to just go into the ILC and mix in a few like beneficiary lead packs of my own, like two,
Mhm.
$300 at a time. Just try to turn those over to like two, $3,000. But I would say a full month, I was just learning. I was like,
Okay.
hey, let's spend as little money as possible maximizing education and maximizing potential, sales. So at the time, I was just booking for my upline, booking appointments, and kind of just getting that out of the way, and then kind of listening to how he closes, and then trying to merge those in, and then eventually, come July, I started to do that on my own, and then August, I would say end of July, August, really it took off.
I love it. So, what are some of the things you learned in that month? So, you said a lot of learning in June, right? What is it? What are some new agent things that you learned? Obviously, Dave can try to give you,
Mhm.
hey, don't step here. This is where the landmine is, right? But like, there's still lessons you got to learn on your own. What are some of those things that you learned in June? Because, dude, that was like 3 months ago, literally,
Yeah, literally.
that helped you understand this business.
Mhm. So we kind of just talked about it too. You can be coached and you can be told how to avoid this, 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 and that. But when you step foot in the pool and you step foot in the fire, step foot in the fire, you got to be able to swim. You got to be able to handle yourself. So it was more about just like doing it and seeing, okay, I would write down every single objection I got and then check it off or exit. Okay, I failed. So I need to work on the social this week. Like, and then I would go
Hmm.
with my upline and we kind of do a little bit of role playing. Hey, can you give me this objection? Like, and phrase it a little bit differently so I can practice it. And then I would go back, I would start to roll that, and then I would run into, oh, hey, I don't have time right now. And then I started with just kind of let them go off the phone versus trying to holding them down and saying, hey, let's get it later today or later today or tomorrow at 2 or 3. Starting to figure out, hey, how do I roll the objection and then kind of close it back? So I would write everything down and then talk with Dave and some other guys and then role play on those until I never failed on it again in the call. And I'm still right, still 4 or 5 months in, right? So I'm still in that process, learning a few things now. Trying to now for me, it's kind of about efficiency. How can I get through? How can I get to the application quicker? How can I get the health info quicker? Just preserve your own time and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say write everything down early.
That's smart because if you don't track, you won't know,
Hmm.
right?
You
And I
don't know your
look at it like,
bottlenecks.
do like new agents, I feel like when they're starting to dial, they're like drinking out of a fire hydrant. It's a lot of information. And it is. It's okay. But like if you don't take little notes like, hey, I'm not interested 3 times in a row. And I got hung up on 3 times in a row. Obviously, something I'm saying is not working. Let me go call someone and get a better answer on how to overcome this. That's what new agents don't do. They just continue to take it. And then they call you like 2 weeks later, go, I quit. Why? Because I keep getting, I'm not interested. We're like, why didn't you just call me? I would have gave you the answer on how to overcome that. Or at least given you a better way to overcome that, right? But the fact that you're taking mental notes so that you can actually ask someone for help, because that's the other big part, Jackson. Most people won't ask.
Hmm.
You have people that are selling 30, 40, 50 grand a month in your office that obviously deal with this too. But the amount of people that are too embarrassed to ask because they feel like they should know it or whatever it may be, or they went through the boot camp, they should know it, right? And they don't. And it's okay. Like this is what I always tell people here. I'm like, dude, you're in a judge-free zone. Like we're not gonna laugh at you for dealing with the shit we deal with on a daily basis because everybody gets to deal with it. And so I love that you jot that stuff down because it's so funny. You said you role play and all that. I was just talking to somebody about this last week. Like in football, right? Like
Hmm.
let's say you're watching the NFL. They play on Sundays usually, right? They practice Monday through Friday heavy to play one game on Sunday. Like they practice 5 times more than they play. We go, no, 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 you're going to go jump on the phone lives and have no actual practice, no script training, no rehearsals. Like that's crazy to me.
Hmm.
So like that's where we go. We got to drill these things down because if you go, hey man, like if I talk to a new agent, I go, hey, you're only gonna get 3 objections at the beginning of the phone. It's I'm not interested. I don't remember filling it out. I already got it taken care of. Besides those three things, there's not much they can really say. But if we know the answers to the test, we got to drill that down to get so damn good at it. So when we receive it, it's not, uh, which one is this one again? Oh, dude, they hung up, bro. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of like, that's why I'm saying it's like in basketball, it's like I can train against so many defenses all day long. And I need to be able to go, well, if I play against a zone, this is where the gaps are, blah, blah, blah. So then when I actually play in the game, it's like I'm not thinking about it. I'm just doing it,
Mhm.
right? It's the same thing in our line of work. So many people want to like ask, like they want to try it out in the game. I'm like, that's not when you try shit out. You try shit out in practice.
Literally.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I love that part. So you transition into generating your own leads. You pay someone to manage your stuff for you. You start about 100, $150 a day. How uncomfortable was that?
Very, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, you're gonna be a big boy or you're gonna worry and complain. I have people, like you said, I got people already in my office already doing it, and there's a blueprint. It's a copy and paste business. If
Right.
someone's doing good, follow. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't try to do this, that. No, they were doing it. I saw it's working. We got one guy in our office, shoot, submitting 80, 90, 100K here. He's making big waves. So literally I was like, what is he doing? How can I do it? If that involves spending money now, I'm gonna do it. So started off at 150 ad spend a day. Um,
That's a good
getting
budget.
about anywhere from about getting anywhere depending on how it's pumping from 8 leads a day to about 20,
Okay.
and they're all real time veterans. We've seen kind of that veterans have a little bit more money, kind of
Yeah.
with pensions and Social Security and whatnot. So we started kind of just strictly working with them, and kind of having Dave, who was in the Navy as well, a little bit of rapport there and whatnot. So that's kind of how we started jumping on. I just followed all the guys in front of me, and I knew it was scary, right? You know, I didn't have much money in my debit account or whatever, so I had to get a credit card. Seeing where you're minus 2,000 because you're 7 days in, and then the one policy hasn't paid yet. But it's just kind of about, hey, it's a process. Call your leads, go back, call all the ones you haven't hit yet. Even if you haven't sold anything that day, you still won. You made money that day. You did the process. It's process over results. If you
Right.
can stack 30 days of processing, you'll get 30 days of results versus worrying about here, here, here. And that's all that matters. Yeah.
I love that you say that because like I'm asking these questions because everybody goes through it. Like I remember
Hmm.
one time when I had a lead bill that was coming and I definitely didn't have the money because everybody goes through this. And I go, babe, we might need to swipe your credit card for it.
Hmm.
Like everybody goes through something uncomfortable like that. If you think this business is a breeze, you're in for a treat, right? And so like that's why I'm asking you how uncomfortable it is because guess what? If you're a new agent on our team and you're like, man, Josh and Alondra asked me to do this, Steven, Arden, Jordan, and Daniel, and Hanan, and everybody's asked me to do this. Guess what? We all go through that same emotion. Everyone. Welcome to the club, right? It's like our minister said to me at church the other day. He said, "You're not the first, and you won't be the last."
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's so good. Because
Amen.
everybody feels like it only happens to them. But it's like, yo, congratulations. Welcome to the club. We all go through it. Right. That's why I'm so glad you said what you said because how, like, 30-day results. So you go in June, you're calling the lead advantage stuff, which is age leads, and you're learning your grinding. Right. And then you start going into July, you start turning on your own campaign. What was the difference? Like, how much premium did you have more of? Obviously, you spent more money, so I'm assuming you made more money too. What did that look like?
Yeah, so this is actually, a kind of a good situation for a lot of people starting off early too. So in June, um, all I had to do was I paid Dave about 150 for the month. That was kind of our lead advantage program that we have here at Velocity. All these old leads, right? So I kind of went through, made about 5, 6K in like just cash. So I think the AP was around like 7 or 8 or 9, something
Nice.
like that. But was able to, stack some cash in the beginning, save it. I also had a buddy who was on my college team, so it kind of worked out a little bit for me. But if you have someone new as well, me and him actually started the fresh leads together. So
Mhm.
we were actually at a 300 ad spend per day, split between 150 each. So it enabled us to spend more together and be on the same system to get more ads in per day, to where me and him would just alternate on those leads. And if he missed them in the morning, I'd call him in the evening. So
Nice.
me and him were getting $300 worth of leads, but only having to spend 150. And that worked out pretty well too. We were still kind of learning our skills, obviously starting to roll those objections better, but did pretty good. I think that first month was able to write 10K and submit, but that was also every single sale we had, I split him in 30, or if he made the
Right.
sale, he would split me
Right.
in 30. So even having those splits, if you go back, that first month was probably should have been 13 to 15 if you really kind of factor it in. So no, it was a great month, but kind of learning. And I wasn't even expecting 10 to be all honest, Steven. I thought it was going to be kind of another five still practicing, but it's kind of just been going up like that since. So
So that was about 10 in July. What did August
Mhm.
look like?
So August started off the first week of August. I actually had to go on vacation, so wasn't
Had
able
to.
to work that week. I was just down on my old leads, and I had my buddy booking appointments for me. But then it all kind of spiraled. I stayed on top of it, even though I went on vacation. I was like, hey, how can I protect this lead flow? Because I was spending, the 150 a day. Had him book me a whole bunch of appointments for the next week. Got back, just started going crazy. August ended up being 40, 43, 45 because it was that
Wait, wait,
huge
wait, wait,
week.
wait. You took a week off
hmm
and you wrote how much?
The second week of August was that really big week.
The
It
37?
ended up, yeah, it ended up being like 37. And then the third week went through some stuff where I had to kind of manage my downline, wasn't able to work enough 3 days. So think about this. I had to kind of take off 8 or 9 days during that month and was still able to do about 45 because in the fourth week I did about eight.
Let me
So it was
explain to you
nice.
why I asked this question.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks this business grows like additionally, and it doesn't. This business multiplies exponentially. The reason why he grinded his gears on his lead advantage program was because he had to learn. And it's better to learn at like a very inexpensive cost because you're gonna go through the shit. You are. It is what it is. He starts his own campaign, and this first month he gets a decent result 10, 12, 13. And then he writes 40 something. And people go, how? It's because he finally understood the assignment. He went through all the learning. Now he has fresh stuff to call. And then guess what? He can scale. You want to know what's crazy, Jackson? Like, we do the same. Like, this is the reason
Yeah.
why I'm laughing because 8 of our top 10 agents run self-generated leads on Facebook. And they
Yep.
write what they write. They basically write 20 to 40-ish thousand every single month. The amount of people that fight us on that. And I'm like, dude, success leaves clues. Go look at the leaderboard and just go ask them what they're spending. It's really that simple.
Yep.
And then people go, like Blake. Blake's one of our top writers. They go, what is Blake doing? He's writing 40 grand a month, 3 months in. Dude, it's not hard, bro. It really isn't. You know what I mean? So I love that, man. I know that second week, I think that was when I met you. You clicked, you figured something out,
Yeah.
selling wise,
hmm
right? I think you'd say you call people differently than most on how
Yeah.
you
I
close.
literally, something kind of switched and I was like, I'm going to try something. So I was never FaceTiming people. I don't know if you guys are doing this, Steven, but the moment I would call, and I mean, y'all going through this too. This is one of the biggest things too that you got to know as a new agent as well. Your phone gets banged up, the spam risk, all that sort of stuff. So everyone's got their own system of kind of clearing up their phone and whatnot. But what I'm doing, I still don't have, money to go buy a second phone or whatever. So I still got my own phone, dial one time. If it doesn't go through, instantly I'm going to FaceTime audio or FaceTime video. And they pick up sometimes, and it's just these old men or whatever that are just immediately when they saw my face, I could tell that it was, oh, okay, it's a real person.
Right,
And that's not something that I was like kind of hearing the first 2 months in the business. It was, who is this? And then I would have to, like Sean always says, the first 15 seconds, the first 30 seconds, first 90 seconds, you got to get it off. Who you are, what are you calling for?
right,
I started to notice as soon as that FaceTime call would go through and he saw my face, it just felt like I was talking to my grandpa.
right,
And he was like, "Oh, hey, Jackson, how's it going? Okay, yeah, let's do this process. Let's go to the app." And they'd be more willing to sit down. And then, like you said, that Monday I write 4.2. And then Tuesday, some of those appointments I booked over, their wife calls me back because, they build the rapport from FaceTime. So then you end up getting those referrals and you get his and hers mixed in. And you go from 14 in 2 days to just like 27 out of nowhere because people starting to, they see your face. They actually kind of get to see you, and then other people in the family want some too.
That is so awesome. So wait, I
Yeah,
want to ask you this. So you wrote 37 that week. All right, you know what? Let's go for the month. You wrote like 40 some for the month. How much of that was done through FaceTime?
28. And
So
then for
60 to
the
70% of
non-iPhone
your
crowds,
premium.
I just saw that comment too. If the FaceTime's not working, if it's not going through, I personally use Google Voice. So Google Voice is able to transfer through, and I get a free number every time. And I actually get really good pickup rates through Google Voice. So if anyone isn't getting answers or anything like that, or if they think that their phone is like spam likely, because I'll tell you right now, if any one of y'all have an AT&T phone, we can try it right now. I am spammed up with AT&T. I've called them. I've tried everything. So if I get a lead and it says AT&T, I'm going straight to Google Voice. So
That's
like
so
you
funny.
can be you can be the best seller in the world. You can be as good as Stephen E. But if your phone is a spam likely, you got to create you got to figure it out. It's a business, right? If your bananas are expired, you got to go get different fruit. You got to change some stuff up. So that's kind of one thing that hit in August as well. I was like, oh shoot, I've been only using my phone number. I got to start using the CRM phone number. I got to start using the Google Voice phone number. So I started doing that using four different phones, and I'd call the same person four times. He'd answer one of them because one of them would go through.
Right.
And then I started mixing in FaceTime audio as well because FaceTime audio, I don't know if y'all know, it just keeps ringing. It never ends. It just keeps going and going until it either someone clicks off it or not. So I've noticed that's helpful as well.
Here's the cool part, and I think some of our agents taught me this is y'all can FaceTime Android people because it's sending
100%
them a
with
link.
WhatsApp as well.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So like do people ever answer the video call and they're like, why the hell are you FaceTiming me? Or like, how does that work? I'm just
No,
curious. I've never
literally,
seen that
it's like,
dynamic.
so here's the phone. I pop up this is the way I do it. I go, hey, hey, sorry, sir. This is just Jackson here. How you doing? And I try to
You're
seem
door
like super
knocking on
like,
the phone, basically.
yeah, like surprised. Like, hey, sir, it's just Jackson. Look, I'm not not someone over in those call centers in the Middle East. I promise. It's just me, Jackson. All right. I'm here in Virginia. Just got done playing ball. Just here to call you. I serve veterans every day. And then usually it knocks them down, right? Because like I said, as soon as they see my face and it's not some, call center that's spam likely, they're
Right.
like, oh, okay.
That's
I'll at least
clever.
hear this guy out. And then once you get the client to hear you out, I mean, everyone in this room is good enough to close them on something, at least get them a $5,000 policy.
Right.
So,
Dude, I love that. So is that what like is I'm assuming you're still doing that because it
oh,
would yeah,
loving it.
that'd
I'm
be
ripping it.
foolish not.
I'm trying to get another iPhone here at the end of August, work some stuff out, figure out my bill so I can just FaceTime on that call on the other and
Dude, I
keep them
love
separate.
that. I love
Mhm.
that. What are some things that you feel like, because I mean, dude, like to be able to jump production like that, like that's like 3x, 4x production, right? You do it once, and then one of the questions that we all ask ourselves is, was it a fluke?
Mhm.
Right? And then you go,
Uh-huh.
it ain't a fluke if I can do it 2 months in a row, 3 months in a row, whatever it is. What are some things you did to be able to sustain that production level through September, all that stuff?
100%. Yeah, like I said, that last week of August kind of went back down. I only wrote like 8.8 or kind of around that. I
Only wrote eight
forgot.
and a
But
half. Yes. Sucks.
yeah,
Bad
and
month.
not
Bad
and
week.
no,
Sorry.
no, but like you said before, it kind of raised some like, in my head, oh, I did this, and then I'm back down to here. It's like it's law of averages. You know where you're
Right.
gonna be. You could do 120K one week, that don't matter. Next week. It's like, how long can I stay here? And eventually 5 years down the line, by staying here, it'll all catch up. And then I get to go be excited.
Right.
So right now I had, start to September, full transparency. I had some stuff go down with Americo, kind of not knowing. So I had a whole bunch of pending, policies get hold up for a week. So that kind of, motivation kind of slowed me down a little bit. But then I kind of had to regroup, finish that first week of September strong, ended up doing about 6K that first week. Um, Second week of September, about 3.4 or whatever. So we're kind of funneling in now into this week, um, getting going. So
I love it.
it'll all catch up. And if literally, like I said, like I don't have to go hit that 37K a week again. As long as you stay consistent, just try to hit your goals. My goal each week is 10 a week, right? 40K, that's the Hall of Fame number. So I'm gonna push for 12, settle for 10. That's kind of
Right.
where I'm at now. And if I somehow hit 37, awesome. And I think the biggest thing here that Dave talks about is momentum. So that first 2 days, I had two his and hers. So really, I only had two families I called on that first Tuesday on the big week. and it was two husbands that also wanted their wife to get policies. So I ended up getting 10K on that Tuesday. I said, "Ooh, I'm not going to stop." That was about 4 p.m. And I just kept going. Ended up calling from about 5 to 8 just to try to ride that good momentum. And that 5 to 8 dial session actually booked me about 6 or 7 appointments later in the week that I was able to close to add on to the week total. So I think the momentum and then just don't stop. Like if you see something in your bank account too, if you get 3, 4K and you go, okay, I'm not going to work tomorrow. Like, no, you can't do that. You know what I mean?
That's what the hard part about telesales is. You make a sale and you're like, I'm good for the day.
Yeah.
Instead of actually run, because like Andrew Taylor used to call it fourth quarter magic. It's like the appointment you don't want to go to at night is the one you have to run because that's where the magic occurs. And it's like so many people hit their premium by like noon and they're like, I'm good. I'm gonna go home, play with the kids, have fun with the family. Like, but it's like, dude, you can literally stack more on top of that. And that's what I've come to realize. Here's the cool part about you writing 37 in a week, that it's possible that if you did it once, you can do it again.
Mhm.
That's the cool part is like, yeah, you might not do 37 every week, but you can do 20 if you really wanted to. If you wanted to ramp your leads up, if you want to ramp your availability up, you can do it. It's actually not hard because it's a math equation, right? The amount of leads you get versus the calls you make versus the presentations you have versus the apps and AP that you have. So for me, it's like when you do it once, you lift that lid and you go, all right, like I don't have to do 37 every week because my number is 10, but I know if push came to shove, like I can do 20. That's the part that like when your mind thinks like that, like you print, like we used to say this, you can print your own money.
Yeah.
That's the fun part is like
For
life
me
experience
now,
gives you the
yeah,
ability
for
to.
me now, it's like I kind of realized this is really all kind of flipped a switch in my brain. And I think for new agents, especially once you hit that like first thing that kind of goes good to happen to you, and this kind of was that, 37 in 1 week, that's Hall of Fame numbers for a month. So once I realized that, the week that I had after, I was like, dude, you're good. You did it in 1 week. As long as, you're consistent over a full month, it'll add up to where you want to get it. So
Right.
now if I hate to say only, but let's say it's only like a 2, 3K week, I'm cool because I know next week is probably going to average out to about 15 to 20 just
Right.
based on consistency showing up. If you have the same lead flow, same ad spend per day, same work ethic, you can't fail. You literally cannot fail. And it's to circle back to where you were earlier, never be scared, never be worried because it's foolproof. Everyone here that has made it is doing the same thing. And there is, scared, oh, I'm spending. No, it's your business. That's one thing that Dave preaches to me. Hey, you're not spending $200 a day. It's Murphy LLC is spending $200 a day. You just happen to work for them.
Right.
So that's kind of the mindset too. It's like, okay, I'm cool with that. My business is operating. If I show up to my business and work, the business will pay me back.
Dude, but you know what's crazy is the amount of agents that don't understand that you're playing with house money. It ain't your
Literally.
money anymore. Like, all right, the initial ad spend is let's say $1,000 and you write 2 grand. Let's say you write 2 grand and you take half of that and put it back in the business. Dude, it's house money. Like it's not yours. You only had to spend that first $1,000 ever. But
Mhm.
most people get so tight-fisted with money that they're so scared to throw it back in. And I understand you got bills to get, that need to be paid and all that stuff. I'm not saying be late or whatever it is, but dude, you need to feed the business that makes you the money. That's the stuff that people don't understand. Like they spend $1,000 on leads, they write 3, 4, 5 grand, they get deposited that, and then what happens is they go, my mortgage is due, 3 grand gone, car payments due, 1,000 gone. Oh shoot, got to pay for electric bill, blah 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 blah, 500 credit card bill, now back to zero. And I go, now you have no more money to make that 5 grand that you just made last week because you wanted to pay everybody first except for your business. See, like if I can share with you guys anything today, your business has to be paid first, and then all those other things can come after. And you're like, well, why? Because you don't kill the golden goose that lays the eggs, bro. That's just stupid.
Yep.
Golden goose laid 5 eggs this week. You know what? Too much. Boom, done. No more eggs ever. That's what some of us do. And I look at it like, this is horrible. So, like, please don't judge me. I go, do the bill collectors aren't coming for like another 15 days, anyways? You can be late on the credit card like 4 days. It's all right. I trust my work ethic over that.
Mhm.
We will go pay these billion-dollar corporations, but not ourselves, which is freaking fascinating. You know what I mean? And so, like, for me, that's
100%.
why I'm always like, when you understand the metric that you got to pay your business first, not you got to pay your business first. You take care of the expenses after, and then you pay your payroll last. When you understand that, this business gets really easy. Because I wrote 10 grand a week, just like you said. I was like, I wrote 10 grand a week. Why? Because I knew week one, pay for all the business expenses. Week
Mhm.
two, cover these expenses. Week three and four, that's for me to keep. But it has to go in that order. The business expenses have
Mhm.
to go first, right? The staff and all that after that, and then me. I'm
Mhm.
last, right? And so, like, you put the pressure on yourself to perform because you got to take care of that. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I love that. Hey, we have a few
And
questions in the
oh, I
chat that I
got you.
wanted to go over. And if you guys have any questions for Jackson, feel free to drop them. Dennis asked the question, what's your weekly schedule look like?
Yeah, so I'm a six days a week type of guy. I mean, I think being 22, no wife. I mean, I have a girlfriend, but no wife, no kids. I'm not tied down to anything. I don't have to be anywhere. Yeah, this is only from what I can, my experience. But if anyone and out there is kind of in the same situation, just do it. So I'm 6:30 a.m. Uh, I mean, you can wake up at 5, you can do your thing. I'm 6:30 to 7:30 at the gym. Get my workout in, and then I try to leave and get to the office before 9. We have a 9 a.m. call every single day. It's called morning coffee. Our leaders here, Dave, Orlando, are kind of just, getting through some stuff, saying, "Hey, let's roll this objection today for all new guys," or "Hey, we start every day with God too as well." So we got some scripture
I
in there.
love it.
So that's every single day. And then I'm dialing as soon as that's over. I got my self books in the morning. And anything after that, I try to double up stuff. So I'm dialing, let's say, call it 9:40, 10 o'clock till about, lunchtime, whatever that is. Take maybe 20, 30 minutes to eat. Not too much. I don't need to sit there and watch a movie. You're working. Get back to work. I try to get outside, get some sun. That's pretty important, guys. You got to, take care of your health first. Money comes and goes, but go get some sun, go walk. I try to do that every single day for 30 minutes, then get back in till about dinner time, 7, 6, 7, around there, eat, and then hop back on. If I got any organ leads that came in that day or from the past week, I'll dial all my organs in Arizona's, and then I'm done by 9. Try to preserve some time for myself, FaceTime my girlfriend, stuff like that. But that's every day. Saturday, I get after it a little bit earlier. I try to start dialing at 8. People are typically up a little bit earlier on Saturday, trying to do stuff, try to catch them before they start doing stuff. I'm about 8 to 3 on Saturday. Take some
Yep.
time for myself in the evening. Sunday, all for Jesus, and play a little golf on Sunday. So that's
Let's
that's
go,
my day.
baby.
That's my week. Yeah.
I love it. And I love it, man. Thank you for being transparent because here's what I was talking to a guy that I was recruiting this past week, and he goes, "Do I have to work 50 hours a week to make 40 grand a month?" I go, I want you to say that shit out loud for yourself to hear. I was like, you
Yeah.
work 40 hours a week to make 4 grand a month. So you want to not work more to make more money? Like, how does that make sense? You know what I mean? Like, you don't get to
Hmm.
live that type of life. Like you're working 6 days a week. And a lot of people on the call go, oh, I got a family, I got this. I'm not saying you can't or shouldn't. I'm just going, you can't expect that type of result without that type of work ethic, though.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I go, okay, you don't have to make 40, but like, in order to make 20, you still got to work. Right. And you need it.
100%.
This is the thing that a lot of people don't account for, Jackson, is the time to get better. So, like in that first month, your learning curve was shortened because you got kicked in the mouth for 30 days straight, while most people will spread that pain through like 4 months.
Hmm.
So the reason why you were able to write 10 your second month, 40 your third month was because you went through like 100 appointments faster than most people would. So the objections started to sound the same, and you're like, I already got this. Bob,
Hmm.
Bob, Bob, tell me you already got it. Come on. I already heard it. I know what I'm going to say. I already got it. Perfect. And then you would rebuttal it, right? Because you're so comfortable in your skin now. The thing is, we need to get people through that learning curve as quick as we can. And
100%.
like you went through it quick, which is why now it's starting to get easy, right?
I
Uh,
think the best thing, sorry to cut you off,
no, you're
Stephen, the
good.
biggest thing that I've ever heard, and I thought this was quite literally a cheat code to unlocking your mind first. I assume all of y'all have seen the movie Holes. It's a great movie.
Mhm.
Dave kind of pictured it this way. He said, look, Jackson, you see outside? You see those trees? If I told you to go cut down all 10 trillion of those trees and one of them had a $10 trillion diamond inside of it, you would go do it, right? If I told you you would never have to work again because one of those trees just happened to have a diamond in it, you would go try to find it. It's the same thing. I just handed you 1,000 leads. One of those leads is a 300 a month AP person,
Yep.
just waiting for you to call them, just waiting for that IUO, waiting to be written, whatever it is. Whole life, 40,000. How fast can I get through those white pieces of paper to
Right.
find that person? Where some people are like, I'm at 20, I'm a little tired. Crap. Okay, let me stop. Well, dude, 21 was probably the big one.
Yeah.
And even if it was a small one, it's like, guys, like this business is quite literally there's 1,000 holes in front of you. Get digging. Because one of them is your ticket out
That's
to,
so good.
creating financial wealth. Like, my goal is to, I got a girlfriend right now. I want to propose to her and make sure she never has to work. I want her to take care of the kids.
That.
That's how God almost intended it to be, right? Take care of the family. I want her to be one that's raising my kids. In order to do that, I got to go dig some freaking holes. That's kind of how I'm locked in on it now.
I love it, man. That was so
Yeah.
good. Jordan asked, when you get a spouse turning one into two people, what's that been like for you? Some agents get nervous with just one. How has that budget building been for you as a new agent, sparking the spouse's interest to get both in the same appointment?
100%. So what I've noticed too is typically it's the male. That's just for my leads. I would say about 75% of the time, it's the husband that's going to fill out the form. So let's say I'm talking with him and I'm always asking, hey, sir, so you were kind of looking into this. It's either because you don't currently have any insurance, you're looking to supplement, maybe add some on, you're spending too much, or you're just trying to replace because you don't like it. How does that fall? Which one does that fall into you? They let me know and say, okay. And was this just for you or for your wife as well? And he says, well, we're looking for both. How I factor that is obviously it has to be they have the same budget, they have the same bank account. You got to build a budget for the combined, not for the husband, not for the wife. So I say, hey, for the two of you combined, what is the maximum we're looking to spend a month to be able to make sure all your goals are met and you have the coverage we're looking for that's day one coverage. And they'll say, let's say 200. When you get that, you always start with the female first. Female's going to be more less than expensive. That's just how insurance works. And typically they're a little bit healthier. Us men, I don't know why
We
we're
do dumb
crazy, I
stuff. That's
guess.
why.
Yeah, we're crazy and whatnot. But I kind of try to fit that in first. So I'll say, hey, we're going to talk to your wife. She's 63, pretty healthy. Hers is only going to be about $78 a month. That gives you, sir, about $120 to work with to get you as much coverage as we can. So I try to get the max end range and then work it into hers first because it's going to be more inexpensive and then see what I can do for the husband after. But also at the same time, it's guys, we're not salesmen. We're not pushing anything. It's sir, what do you want? You wanted 10K? Is the 10K important or is the comfortable budget important? Okay,
Ooh, that's
the
good.
10K is important. Okay, so this 10K is going to be 180 a month. It's going to go over your combined. Okay. So it's truly not what you were talking about. You're more comfortable with the budget. Okay. So now that we know your true pain point is the budget and not the face amount, now let's get as much face amount for the budget as we can. And then it's the same for vice versa. If they're really, really strict about the face amount, then clearly budget doesn't matter because that's how they want it. And you really just kind of have to tackle it down there. But always, always, always ask for spouse. It's just missing out on a free referral if you don't.
I love that, man. That's so good.
Yeah.
Ted asked, besides getting kicked in the mouth with dials, what are some things you had to learn in the insurance game, and what are some things you do to grow your mental game?
Yeah, 100%. Um, First things first to grow your mental game. I mean, in my point of view, I'm a huge believer. So before I even start every day, just praying, how can I help families best? Walking through that kind of just prepares my mental. And also, kind of like we talked about before, I already know I'm going to get, someone's behind the phone flicking me off. Someone's already going to say F you. That's already past it. Get past the point where you know you're going to get buried, and then you'll start having fun with the business. Make sure you get into a good Zoom room. Have someone you can talk to. Like let's say me and I see Thomas here. Me and Thomas are built to be decent friends or whatever. Let's just go into a breakout room, start chatting. Like take 5 or 6 minutes to kind of refocus your mind, and then get going, and then really just start digging. And what I get yapping sometimes. What was the other part of that question?
Mental game. What are some things you do to grow your mental game, and what are some things you had to learn for the long?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm huge on YouTube, guys. Obviously, you have to jump in and like you're playing golf, you have to take swings, but at the same time too, you got to grow your mind. I watch a lot of your videos, Steven. I'm all over Sean's page, literally everywhere. I mean, he's got good stuff. Wherever I can find someone that has done it, I'm listening to them. Right. So we got this guy in velocity, like I said, Brendan Schlittler. He's only about 6, 7 months in, and he's going stupid, right, in 80, 90. So I literally sit in the Zoom room When I was in that phase of the lead advantage in June, I would sit there and carve out on my calendar an hour, listen to Brendan. I'd sit there with a notepad and write down everything he said, and I would focus on the beginning. And then once I memorized what Brendan said in the beginning, I would do it for the rebuttals. And that kind of also speeded myself up. So find someone that's in your group that's absolutely killing it and just ask them, hey, maybe could we do a breakout and you just talk the entire day? And that's kind of how I would just literally sit there and just do notes and notes and notes.
Right.
Just okay. I keep seeing that he's saying, this is a big thing that we also learned. How can I be brutally honest with you, sir? And every single time the client's going to be like, yes, because then they feel comfortable. And then you just lay it on them. Sir, you're 78 years old. This is going to be way too expensive for you. I'm just going to be honest. And they're like, oh, no one's ever told me that before. So you just kind of start picking up stuff like that. And people hate studying. Study, man. Go watch
Oh, yeah.
Steven's videos. Go watch Sean's videos. Start just listening to what people sound like. Try to pick up on their tone. That's kind of how I try to prepare my mental game.
I love it. You said something that like brought me back to being new because when I was brand new and like I couldn't close a door, right? I went on a ride along with my buddy and he said, I want you to have a pen and paper out and I just want you to write what I say.
Mhm.
And so like I sat through like three presentations with him and I wrote his presentation down three times. And then I took them and I laid them side by side. And I was like, this is the same. This is the same. This is the same. Oh, okay. And like that's how I learned was because like
Mhm.
it was scary if it was different every time. Then I'm kind of like, well, I don't know what to say because it's literally different every time. But it wasn't. Hey, this is who I am, where I'm calling from. You fill out this form. My job is to get the information out to you, right? And go through the financial. Like I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I can do that. I just need to know what to say in those things, but I can do that. Right.
Yeah.
And I say that because like I've never been a fan of taking people at the time in the car with me because I always felt like it was weird if we had two people with like one client, especially if they were an older lady. And but like as a favor to like three dudes, I took three people in the car with me, and it was no surprise, bro. Two of them went Hall of Fame. And like literally, they literally just wrote my presentation. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to tell you this. And this is the best thing I could tell anybody. I go, my presentation is like a Broadway show. The
Mhm.
shit I say is the same every time. The only thing that changes is the audience. I'm like, the
Mhm.
quicker you can understand that, this is easy, right? The emotions are the same. I inject the same laughter at the same point of the like everything's the same. The only thing that changes is the person sitting in front of me. Once I got to that point, Jackson, the emotions came out. Like I wasn't emotional about a client anymore. Because like you said, it was digging. So I was like, all right, this guy said no. Next. I will pull up to a house and go, all right, there's only three possible things that can happen. Fool's not home. Fool's home doesn't buy. Fool's home, he'll buy. There's the
Mhm.
only three possible outcomes. So I was like, which one is it gonna be? And so like if I was you guys and I'm calling leads, I'm like, there's only three things they can do. They can either not answer, they can answer and give you some stupid objections and hang up, or they'll stay through and buy. When you make it that simple, you're like, oh, this is easy. It's a numbers game. I'm not attached to what Mary from South Carolina said. I'm just running through the numbers.
Yeah. I would say I have one big thing too, as far as on the sales thing. I think the biggest thing that I really started to pick up was watching some of these high producers was the tone switch. Like when I'm talking to you, Steven, if I called you in, I hear their tone, kind of hear how they're sounding. If it's someone that has a low voice, maybe they kind of have asthma, you can hear the raspy. I don't. Hey, Steven, how's it going, man?
Right.
You kind of match them, code switching. Like that's where one thing I saw. Like I keep talking about this guy in our with Velocity, he's just going crazy, and you'll hear him, and it's this old lady. Oh, hey, Miss Betty, how's it going? Oh, great. I've been really meaning to get in touch with you. Versus if it's Greg who's 83. Hey, Greg, look, not a telemarketer. This is Jackson. I'm just getting back to you, sir. Because you can try to once you can pick up, because some people will come at you. So why are you calling? And I'll even go, hey man, look, I'm calling because of this, man. Chill, chill. Why are you screaming at me? And I'll even have the clients go, oh, whoa, sorry, Jackson. All good, all good. Or if they're like, hey, I can't hear you. Obviously, well then start yelling in the phone. You got to adapt. And that was one thing that was big in baseball as a pitcher. I had a really good curveball. They would hit it that day. Jackson, you can't keep throwing the curveball. You got to throw the slider. You got to throw the changeup. it's really adapting on the fly. And I think if you can almost, you don't have to be that good at sound, but if you match people's tones, they will like you.
Right. Yeah, we
So
call it
that's
mirror
kind of one thing
matching.
I started switching.
We call it mirror matching in sales. You literally mirror
100%.
and match the person on the phone. I love it. Daniel asked, what should new agents track? I know you mentioned objections, but what else?
I think from the start, how many people, less of how many dials you make, because obviously that just needs to be, I don't want to say endless, but just keep going. I would say how many people you get actually you talk to. How many people picked up the phone because that'll be able to track, okay, how many times are you actually speaking? Because
Right.
dials, yeah, let's say you did 200 in a day. We all know 100 of those are not going to answer. Okay. So I did track that, but I would say track how many people actually pick up the phone and you talk to, track how many appointments you've made through the week, because then you'll be able to get a closing ratio. You just kind of want to see your bottlenecks. Track how much you spent for the week, track how much you ended for the week, how many total dials you did for the week, how many total closes. And you get the whole final numbers. Don't really worry about day by day. And just at the end of each week on Sunday, you go, okay, I actually did have a good week as far as appointments, but it was getting the people actually on the phone to come back to their appointments. So I think this next week I need to add in something to the effect of right before I get off the phone, be like, look, sir, this is important. Is it important to you? And really tie down the appointments. And once I kind of rolled that, people started showing up to appointments more. So figure out something that's kind of low. And once you figure out that, adjust that next week. So honestly, it's almost everything. If you think it's a data point and you're early, write it down. Because then you might get to a point 2 months in, okay, I don't have to write down how many calls I'm making because I know I make the calls anyway. And then you understand that. And then you get a system kind of like I have here or whatever that has a whole KPI tracker to where I just plug it all into the Excel and it pops it in for me.
I
So
love
I
it.
would say almost everything, but really one big one is how many people are you actually talking to on the
Pickups.
phone? Hmm.
Yeah, because it's funny because with brand new agents, we track dials because they won't.
Hmm. Exactly.
But
Because
after
it's
they're
I did
dialing,
120.
right. After they're actually dialing, that's like the least number I care about. Because now it's like how many people did you talk to? How many did you present to? Because those are the
Yes,
only
that's what I
metrics that
forgot.
transfer over
Presentations,
to
yeah.
sales. Right.
Hmm.
So it's funny because those things change. Like if I'm talking to like, for example, like Daniel or Jordan, I don't care how many calls they made. I'm like, did you do your 5 presentations today? Because this is the only
Yeah.
metric that matters if you're gonna go after 10K a week, right?
Hmm.
That's where it's like the metrics change as you get more mature in this business. And I love that. Hey, as we wrap up,
Yeah.
I know you guys have a very great Zoom culture. Can you kind of talk
Yeah.
about like when you're working and being unmuted and having your camera on and like actually participating in that Zoom? Like, what has that actually done for you and your business?
Oh, dude, it is massive. Being able to, so we have all of our breakout rooms, and I keep going back to this one guy, but quite literally, everything can stem from one guy if we kind of do it right. We would have his room, it was called Brendan's room. Everyone, we have about 16 guys join up in it. He would always be open mic. He's pitching, he's pitching, he's pitching. Then I'd throw in the chat, hey guys, let's go into final expense room and talk about this, what he just said. And quite literally, we'd have like two or three younger guys that are just like me go, did you hear Brendan say that? Let's try it or whatever. And then quite literally, it just creates discourse. And having the mic on, yeah, it might be annoying because you're trying to dial. Well, shoot, take 2 seconds off from dialing, maybe listen. They said something. And it's not just listening and writing down, it's actually using it. So when you hear like Steven say something, shoot, take it in, write it down, internalize it, then turn your mic on and try to use it. Because if you end up using it incorrectly, Steven will be able to correct you. Whereas if you never open your mic and you try to use Steven's quote that's really good, how is he going to know if you used it right or not? So that's one thing that Dave's like, look, we can give you all this knowledge. How do we know if you're using it or not in the right, delivery? So and you guys have a pretty big Zoom room. So it's like 35, 40 of y'all you know, shoot, private message 8 of them through the little chat system here and say, hey, let's go do a private room. Let's just do like a little 8 piece
Right.
and rotate. And it's very important. It really is, especially in the online culture how we have. We're not in, everyone in the same office.
Where's Brendan out of?
What's up? Say it again. I'm sorry.
Where's Brendan out of?
Brendan Schlittler's in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. And you're in
Yeah.
Roanoke,
I'm
Virginia.
in Roanoke, Virginia. Yeah.
Right.
Southwest Virginia.
So like let me explain to you why the Zoom room works. because Jackson has just talked about how much he's learned from a dude that doesn't live in his neighborhood. So if he doesn't hop on Zoom, he does not pick up the nuggets that he needs to be able to write the business that he has. This is the reason why unmuting on Zoom and participating is such a big deal. Because if if Jackson, like the old way, like
Yeah.
face-to-face days, the only way Jackson can learn from Brendan is he buys a plane ticket and goes spends a week with him, which is
Mhm.
expensive. We don't have to do that anymore. We can do it on Zoom. Hop on Zoom, turn your camera on, unmute, and be able to literally hear someone. That's the reason why we keep saying the telesales game has been easier than it's ever been. And if you don't capitalize on it, you're going to look back one day and go, dang it, opportunity passed me, and I should have taken advantage of it. Right. So, Jackson, I appreciate you, man. I'm excited to be able to
Of course.
see you continue to crush this. And I know the numbers are just going to only get bigger and bigger. And dude, can't wait to shake your hand and meet you one day, brother. I appreciate you for
Heck
everything
yeah.
you've done
I
for us.
can't wait. Yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. If y'all got any value from this, make sure you drop them a line and say thank you. This upcoming Wednesday, we do have Devin Martin from NLG that's going to be hopping on talking about the new Simplified Life IUL. I'm excited for it because all the people that have talked about it already has gotten great feedback. So we're excited to be able to have that information dispersed. Make sure you hop on and listen and learn. And as always, thank you guys. See you at the top.